Good evening, guys. So I needed a snap ring pliers, and this seemed like a good option because it has all the detachable heads in one handle. It takes up a little bit less space. And what I use it for is the snap ring on this. There's a snap ring on the back side of that to keep this from coming off, but occasionally you need to take that off. So let's give it a shot and see what all these heads will do. Okay, so here's the basic set. Got a universal handle with posts on the bottom and the top, and if you think about it, that's either going to make the attachment open or close. So they're all kind of universal. Now this is almost the same part. This is 90 degrees, this is 45 degrees. They call these 180s, but I would call them straight. And here's the attachment piece and a spring. Not really happy with the way these go together, and what happens when you lose that little spring. It's entirely possible. So take the set you want, which the 90 degrees is what I'm going to use most of the time, and I'll use one of the straights most of the time. So these, it's nice to have spares, but I won't use them. So it's kind of complicated. If I want to put it on the bottom, I put it on. I'll hold it just temporarily, and it pushes together. So if I take it on the back side and put it on the top lugs, now it comes apart. That's supposed to satisfy everybody's needs. And the only difference between these is the shape at the end, either 90 degrees, straight, 45, and they give you an extra straight. So what strikes me as odd is this attachment piece. Now it has a lock mechanism right there. So when it's like this, it's locked. You have to put it with the flat solid piece out to actually load it. Get it with the solid piece out and put this on. The small end of the spring down. And you grab this. You put it through the hole, and when you get to the other side, you pull it over, center it, and it's locked. So see if I can show a close-up of that. It's kind of non-obvious how to do that. The spring is in there between the head of the retaining pin, and the locking mechanism is on behind the handle. So now that I have that, they work pretty good. But I've had it come loose right there, and it shoots out the other side because of that spring. So if I want to undo it, I pull that to one side, let it slip through the hole. So I'm worried about losing the spring. As an alternative, you could just get you a bolt with a wing nut. It's going to make the pliers wider and harder to get into tight spots, but you won't have to worry about losing the spring or that pin. So if you put the spring with the small side of the spring under the head of the pin, make sure you have the solid piece out, and feed it onto whatever side you're going to be using. Not happy with this. It's kind of fiddly, and I don't like fiddly things. If I'm working on a piece of equipment, I don't want to take the time to deal with this pain in the ass. But once you get it on, it is pretty tight and stays steady. It surprised me that it did, but it's very non-obvious that you have to go to a certain sequence. The flat side of the retaining pin goes on the tool side. The retaining clip goes on the handle side. The spring goes under that head of the retaining pin with a big side toward the tool and the small side toward the head of the retaining pin. But now if I want to take that off, I can put that in the holes. There we go. So I can get that retaining ring off. There we go. Now, I think probably this one would have worked a little better. But it's an interesting tool, very strange. I went and looked these up online. Harbor Freight has them for $5, Walmart has them for $6, and Irwin has a set of them that's $15. And when I looked at it, I could tell no difference other than the handles have more cushion on them because they're blue and gold now. So to me, it's the same tool. It's a little cheesy how it goes together. A nut and a bolt, or a bolt and a wing nut would work much better. But I think this is supposed to be quick change, although to me they're not. But the more you use them, maybe they are. Okay, so somebody like me that uses these 10 times a year, I want to pay $5. And I actually bought these with 30% off, so I got them less. But I want to pay $5 for something instead of $15 for something. If I use them a lot, I would probably buy a dedicated set. So, Pittsburgh snap ring pliers with interchangeable heads. Work just fine. A little hokey in how they do that locking pin. But if you like the videos, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.